Hi everybody and welcome to Discipleship Debrief for today. And we have been last week we started in Luke 15 and we're going to kind of finish that up. We talked about Israel and the Pharisees and the uh, Sadducees all being kind of the shepherds of the day to take care of the lost sheep, to spiritually care for souls. And Jesus was eating with sinners and forming relationships with those that were marginalized and lost. And they didn't like that. And so when they challenged him on it and why that he did that, because they were devout so much so that they did not want to come in contact with anything that was considered sinful, or tohu is the utter chaos. It's the Hebrew word. And so they tried to stay clear of that, and they had a lot of rituals and things to keep them ceremonially pure. And so Jesus opens up and tells these parables. Now, um, I've got all of them here, and we're just going to take a few moments to read through them, and we'll give you a few thoughts to kind of keep you caught up, okay? Uh, Luke 15, 1 through 9. Then drew near unto him all the publicans and sinners for to hear him. And the Pharisees and scribes murmured, saying, This man receiveth sinners and eateth with them. And he spake this parable unto them. What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doth not leave 99 in the wilderness, and go after that which is lost until he find it? And when he hath found it, he layeth it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he cometh home, he calleth his neighbors and his friends and neighbors, saying unto them, Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep which was lost. I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in heaven over one sinner that repenteth, more than over the 99 just persons which need no repentance. Either what woman, having 10 pieces of silver, if she lose one piece, doth not light a candle and sweep the house, and seek diligently until she finds it? And when she has found it, she calleth her friends and her neighbors together, and saying, Rejoice with me, for I have found the piece which I have lost. And then likewise, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner that repenteth. And then he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided them unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into the fields to feed swine. And when he would have fain filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? And I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he yet was a great way off, his father saw him, and he had compassion, and ran, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven, and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servant, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. And so we see this series here, and many times we take those parables and we break them up. We talk about them separately, and it's okay to do that, but we need to realize that this is really kind of one parable. Jesus is telling 3 different accounts along the same line in different ways. It's all, and a lot of times this chapter is called this series is called the lost, the parables of the lost things. But everything has a commonality. Something's lost, and then someone has to go find it. And they don't get found, they don't come back on their own. And you may say, well, wait a minute, the son did, but we need to look at this not only at the text, but look at the culture. They're talking about eating with sinners, and so he tells these stories about going to the lost. First of all, the sheep, which we talked about last time, which I won't spend too much time with that. Then the lady with the lost coin, it says she swept the house. Now, they just had little tiny lamps that they used. They're about that big and just a little light. And it said she swept the entire house. When you look at that in the original language, she, in our southern colloquialism, she tore the house up. She looked everywhere with just a broom and a little lamp. So it was a lot of effort on her part to look for it. And then she rejoiced and she threw a celebration because she had found it. And then the son, first of all, a couple things culturally you've got to remember is, first of all, the younger son asked for his part, or asked for the inheritance. First of all, in their culture, he didn't get any. That was a slap in the father's face. But the father gave him part of the money and he left. Now, keep in mind, when he left the father's house, left the Bedav, the Hebrew word there, left that culture, left that system, not only was he not to return, but he would not be welcome even in the village. He was shunned, basically, and he went out and he did what he wanted to do. He spent all his money. And the early listeners to this are really tuned in here because and then he goes and he's feeding pigs, which for the Jewish culture, that was a huge no-no. That was unclean to the utmost. And then it says, when he came to himself. Now, what we've got to realize here, in our Western culture, we read that like he repented and he's going to come back. No, but if you read it carefully, you realize that it says when he came to himself, when he thought clearly, but really that little word, that phrase, that it's not talking about he had a change of heart. He's trying to figure out how to get fed and get money, and he's thinking, even my father's servants get paid. So he is going to scheme to go back and try to be hired on and get a job at Daddy's house, as a servant. And so he gets up to scheme this to go, his motives weren't 100% pure here, because that's what makes what the father does even more powerful. It says when he was a long way off, he ran to him. Now, keep in mind, he wouldn't have been allowed back in the city at all. He wouldn't be, or in the village, he would not be allowed. And so, do you think he got up to the house and the father saw him? No. The father, most elder statesmen, patriarchs, would sit at the gates. And so when the father saw him approaching, or even if he was at his house, they might have run and said, your son is coming, he's coming, he's coming. And it was expected for the father to shun him and say, no, don't let him in. But he ran to him. Also, that was not dignified. Men, patriarchs that were head of the Bedav did not run. That was not considered dignified. And so he ran, and not only did he ran publicly, so everybody saw him running to his son, and then he said he hugged him. Keep in mind, where did the son come from? From the pig pen. He's smelling like pigs. He's unclean. He hugs him, so he touches him. That was a no-no. And he falls on him. He leans, and so that was also undignified, that you fall on him like that and you kiss him. Probably kissed him on both cheeks and maybe even on the forehead. Why? And some scholars believe he kissed him on the lips, as Paul instructs holy kisses, which was a cultural thing there too. So anyway, there was a big show of love that he went to him. He ran to him. He didn't. The son didn't just come home on his own to make amends. And then when at the end it says, Father, I have sinned against heaven and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Do you see what he leaves out there? He says, make me a servant. No, he doesn't do that in this one. He realizes he's repentant there. He's had a change of heart. And then the father says, no, we're going to put the best robe on you. You are my son. And he brings him back into the Beidah, back into the family. Puts the ring on, which shows that he is part of the family. He's signified that he's back. It's okay. You can accept him. And he put shoes on his feet. And that was a luxury item. Most of the lower class and the servants did not have shoes. And so there's all of this, and Jesus's point is that we need to go out and form relationships with sinners, because the lost isn't going to, the coin can't come back by itself. The sheep can't come back by itself. The son was too busy scheming and trying to figure out what he could get to really realize that he needed to come back and be part of the family. So the point and what Jesus was making is that we need to go to a lost and dying world and seek them, seek the lost, and that's part of being a disciple. That doesn't mean that Jesus ate with sinners, but he didn't participate in their sin. And we don't condone their sin, but we love them where they are, and we need to have friendships and relationships with people that aren't saved, or that here's another one, that maybe believe a little differently than us, and have different opinions, maybe are aligned politically differently. Because in the world today, if someone disagrees with you, our idea is just to cut them off. And we're not going to reach the lost or the marginalized that way. So until next time, love God, love each other, and go out looking for the lost, because somebody went looking for you.